Hi, bitch besties. It's your main bitch, Melly. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to another episode of the Judgy Bitch Pod. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to the Judgy Bitch Pod. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited for this episode.
I am too. My first interview. I've never been interviewed before.
We're going to make it fun. No worries. And at the end of the episode, we have a huge surprise for the bitch besties out there. So stay tuned, stay with us. But to get things started, Tammy, tell us how you and I know each other.
So, when I moved to LA, I was on a mission to meet good people because I have a few prerequisites, and most of them are like meeting friends, not out and like drinking and stuff. So I was like, what activities can I do to meet new people, good people that, you know, that like isn't in that atmosphere. So I joined a walking group, and that is where I met Melly. And we connected because we're both from the East Coast. The last place that we lived was the East Coast. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. I love it. And I mean, the bitch besties probably have an idea when they read the title of this episode, which I don't know yet. But by the time this airs, obviously everybody will know why you're here because of the title of the episode and the description. But for right now, tell me your interests and why we're connecting today. Tell me everything you do for a living and your hobbies and, these kind of things.
All right. So my main job is, and something to keep the lights on, but that, something that I love. I used to be a teacher. I transitioned to nannying when I came to LA for a number of reasons. And besides that, though, I also have a podcast called the Path to Transformation Podcast. And I also do sound healing sessions, events. And I'm working on getting my yoga certification too. So I just really love to be in community with individuals working on, our mind, our body, and our spirit together.
Exactly. And I love that. And that's why I asked you to come on and tell my bitch besties all about it. And I think your background is so interesting. And I mean, we could talk for hours, probably just for the transition from the East Coast to the West Coast, where you and I have a lot of opinions to share on that topic, but we save that for another podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about your podcast and, how did it start and the backstory of it. And then later we can talk about the sound bath and the meditation and gratitude aspect. And then if you still have time at the end, we'll play some games.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. So tell me and the bitch besties the name of your podcast again, and how did you come up with the idea for it? What is it about?
So the podcast is called The Path to Transformation, and it is on Apple and Spotify, or wherever you find, your podcast. So I started it I don't know, 4 years ago almost at this point. And it was just one of the things that I began after I started coaching originally. So as they say with like entrepreneurs and whatever, you're very like multi-passionate, and you oftentimes start things and then like maybe they don't work out and like you move to the next thing. So anyway, I did start with coaching, and one like at that time like I was listening to like so many marketing experts or like business experts in the wellness field and space, whatever, and podcasts were, I guess, like just coming up. Like
Mhm.
they've already were around for a while, but like they were really starting to like get more popular like right at that moment.
Mhm.
And so they were like, you should do it as a freebie kind of offer, giving and like to meet more community and stuff. So it kind of started with like the thought of, well, like it's free and I can give it to like, people, like community. But then I realized I was having a lot of imposter syndrome at first, and I was like, wait, like I literally went to school for journalism and I had to do like radio shows and stuff. So I actually was familiar with the program and editing and stuff. And I was like, wait, I actually, like, kind of low key went to school for this, so I can actually, do this and, like, enjoy it, and I always have enjoyed connecting to individuals and hearing more of their stories, so I kind of just turned it to, like, having the angle of, like, wellness or grief and how it, you know, has impacted that person's life, so but now I kind of transitioned to more solo, episodes because
I love
I
it.
like solo
I
ones.
didn't
Yep.
know you went to school for journalism and radio. I just yesterday was sitting here editing an episode, one of the upcoming episodes I did, and I realized that I have such a pretty face for radio. I don't know if I'm recording video because sometimes when, my guests are talking and I'm sitting here like making the most ugliest faces while I'm listening, and then I'm editing the episode. I'm like, oh my God, I should just turn off my video. So it's funny. Maybe I should go into the radio.
No, that was funny because yeah, that was another thing. It was like, "Oh, well, with podcasts, you don't have to, like, be camera ready all the time, and you can just but now they've made a video a huge aspect of podcasting, so now most of us are
Yeah.
getting camera ready too.
Yeah. And honestly, since we're on the topic, I would like to hear from the bitch besties if anybody's actually watching the video. I know we need the video aspect to promote it because I post a lot of the video clips on my Instagram and my TikTok when I'm promoting the next episode. But I would actually like to hear from the bitch besties how many people are really watching the videos or if people are more listening to it. I like to listen to my podcast in the car while I'm getting ready or doing things around the house. So I would be interested to hear how many people are actually watching the videos because maybe that will make me feel better about my radio face. So you do a lot of solo episodes. How often do you bring out an episode? Do you have a day when you bring them out? So what can the bitch besties look out for?
Yeah, I try to do, 1 episode a week, and typically Wednesdays, but I tried not to be, like, too hard on myself because I really want it to be authentic, and I don't wanna force any episodes to, like, come out of me.
Yeah,
Uh, so I kind of just try to go off of, like, inspo, and then some weeks I'm just, like, really busy, as we all are,
yeah.
so I try my best, but, I it's usually 1 a week on Wednesday towards the, like, end of the week.
I love that. And you know what? I have a tip for everybody who's listening who wants to listen to your episodes. Just turn on the follow button, and you will get a notification once the episode comes out. So perfect. They don't miss anything. They don't have to be anxious. Oh, when is the episode coming out? They can just be laid back and their phone will give them a notification when the episode airs. Love that.
Thank you.
Of course. So you mentioned earlier you started off with coaching. What areas were you coaching?
So, I like, another thing, it all, like, transitions and you morph. I originally think that I was doing it for, like, burnout, like, somebody that's,
Mhm.
like, out, and then I kind of called it, uh, like, I think I said, like then I said life coaching, and then I think I said, like, life transitions coaching, life and, like, grief and life transitions.
Mhm.
It kind of morphed because I did get a little bit hung up on the title and, like, what I am and what I'm called or whatever. But, yeah, for the most part, it was just, like, somebody that was, like, the main client or person was, like, somebody that's really burnt out, feeling uninspired, but they do have, like, a spark and a desire for more,
Mhm.
for better in their life, and to, like, improve their health, mind, body, and spirit, and it all.
I mean, seriously, if that isn't the reason to listen to your podcast, I don't know what is. This year, and I feel like in every episode I bitch about this year, but this year has been such a fucking bitch. Like the shit we had to go through this year alone and still have to endure. And I also always say I don't want to make it political, but there's just so much happening in the world right now. Who doesn't feel burned out these days, or at least overwhelmed and exhausted? And you know, and one thing I really like about your podcast, and I mentioned it to you the other day when we had a little pool day together, is that I always feel like it doesn't matter how long your episodes are. I always feel like I come out of the episode with a new inspiration, or I learned something new, or I just have a new gratitude reminder. Or I don't know how to put it in words, but you know what I mean, right? Like I always come out of it and I have a new appreciation for the shit going on in my life and I find the positive and I can be grateful for the positive things. And I need that reminder and it's sad to say that, but I do need that reminder. And I love that your podcast does that to me on a weekly basis. I love that.
Thank you. I love hearing the positive, feedback. I like hearing, constructive stuff too, but
Yeah.
definitely helpful because, sometimes you put it up and like it's been a while maybe since you've heard feedback and you're like, "Ah, does anybody hearing it?" So it's good to hear.
No, I love it. And I mean, it's a sad thing to say, but I feel like we all need the reminder, especially me as the judgy bitch, right? Like I could bitch for days and weeks and months probably. But sometimes you just need the reminder to also be grateful and like this mind shift and like and you have such a positive outlook on things. Whilst I'm more like, I like to bitch. And sometimes I just need to, shift over to the other side, to the light side of life. How do you come up with your topics? How do you know how to put out an episode that I feel at the end, oh shit, she's right. I should be more grateful. And she gave me such good inspiration. How do you come up with that?
So, not to sound uh like self-obsessed or anything, but I honestly just think about like what I'm going through
Yeah.
oftentimes and then of course the people that I interact with and what they're going through. And I kind of just let the downloads, as I like to say, or reminders that I remind myself, um, I like take them and then I think, oh wait, actually like this could be something that, so and so could like benefit from hearing or like maybe a listener somewhere in the world wants needs to hear too. So honestly, they come from like what I'm going through, things that I remind myself of or need to hear, and then kind of just put it out there for others. Really,
I love
that's the
that. I love that. Do you have a routine for yourself? Like, do you journal every day or do you, before you go to bed, think of, yeah, three things you're grateful for, whatever. Do you have a routine like that? Do you do these kind of things?
Yes, I love a routine, morning and night. So I used to be like really, really good at meditating in the morning and like reading 3 pages a day. Uh, but the meditation has been like here and there since I moved here. Um, so I try to meditate for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, whatever. And it's never really perfect. It's honestly just like sitting and like trying to be quiet, like hear nothing, think of nothing as best I can or be detached. And then like it also often turns into like manifesting and like visualizing. So that's where I'm
Mhm.
like, this is probably really isn't meditation. It's just me trying to like visualize. But anyway, so then after that I like to journal any thoughts or like anxieties or things that are coming up, maybe that are stressing me out. But at night is like my favorite time where I also sometimes journal again, but I definitely, like you're saying, like my gratitude practice. So with that, I like to do just like a bulleted list. So here for your bitch besties, here's your little homework. Starting a gratitude journal and in the journal, but make sure like it's something cute that like you really like and have a really good pen because that helps you draw and like write more. Like think of Elle Woods, right? She had like the cute notebook with like the feather on the end of her pen. Like you need to be inspired and like have fun with this stuff. Otherwise it becomes like a chore. It really can. So have a good cute notebook. And then I personally don't like the idea of sentences because sometimes I'm like half asleep already after I doom scrolled or something, and I'm like, I just don't want to do it, so let me not. But I do it usually, and I just like to write like 3 things that I'm grateful for in the day, at least 3, and I just write like the words. So for example, I might be like, oh, like the dog that hung his head out the window of the car.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a moment like that, it doesn't have to be like, oh, my health, like, oh, like my skin or it can be that sometimes, but sometimes it's just these little moments that you're reminded of like throughout your day of like joy and like love and like whatever. Like yesterday I saw the cutest dog with his head out the window and that just like, I really love seeing that. So yeah, 3 things that I'm grateful for. Then I do like a win or 3 things that I'm proud of myself for, or not 3, usually like 1. So like one thing I'm proud of myself for, and that might be something that like I, escaped out of my comfort zone to do, or that um that was something like on a to-do list that I've been dragging my feet and I finally fucking did it. Like
Yeah.
that so that's like my win. And then um the other thing, which 1 to 3, whatever. I was calling this the 333 method, um and finally like 3 things maybe that I'm manifesting, like trying to call in slash I already manifested that came in. So for example, let's say today, let's say I got a free coffee and I had written weeks ago I wanted free beverages or something. I would write down like, oh, manifested like the free coffee just to like prove like, oh, I am, magic. It is working or whatever.
Yeah.
So long story short, sorry. That's my practice.
I love that. And I love that you give the bitch bestie something to do. Homework.
Yes. Homework. I always do homework. Give you
I
homework.
love that so much. And can you please manifest tonight that I'll win the lottery, like the big jackpot, not just the $5? I need some serious money.
Yes, I will try.
Yeah. I always have such a hard time. I tried that multiple times too, because I write a diary. Well, I have an app. I don't actually use a pen anymore. I don't have the muscles in my hands anymore. I can barely say happy birthday on a birthday card. It looks horrible. I look like, a doctor and a lawyer got married, and that's my handwriting. And I just don't have the muscles anymore because I don't ever write by hand anymore. And so I use an app. So, you know, but it helps me with my anxiety to get before I go to bed, get my thoughts out in the app at least. And I try to incorporate the 3 things I'm grateful for. I think I heard it on your podcast and from my therapist probably too. But I'm so lame. I'm tired by the time I'm writing it. I'm about to go to bed. I don't know what to put in. So it's basically every day the same and I stopped doing it. I'm just not creative enough. I need some help. Do you have some advice how to, especially with a tired mind, come up with other things I'm grateful for? I love the idea you mentioned about the dog you saw. How do I remember the shit when I'm writing it down?
I think while, like, kind of beating yourself to that punch or whatever they say, like, even beforehand, like, just kind of remembering your practice throughout the day so that as your day is going, you might be like, "Oh my god, I'm so" like, a little kid comes up to you and, like, gives you a hug, let's say, and it, like, just made your day, and the kid was so adorable. Like, reminding yourself in that moment, like, "Oh my god, that was so cute," and then being like, "Oh my god, I'm so grateful that they did that. I'm gonna write this tonight," and kind of reminding yourself, like, reflecting on the practice even throughout the day to, like, kinda get excited of, like, "Oh, I'm gonna put this in my homework," and, like, "I'm gonna do this for my homework." That's what
That's
I
a
like to
very
do.
good advice. It sounds so easy, but it's such a good advice to just be mindful throughout the
Right.
day to put this, and then at night you'll remember because, you kind of like made a mental note for it or something. I love that so much. That's great advice. And to shift gears a tiny bit, you mentioned grief a couple times now. Do you want to dive into the topic? Do you mind sharing?
Oh, yeah, totally. That's one of the top things I talk about.
All right, take it away. What happened?
So with grief, I'll just kind of tell the whole story honestly. So, growing up, I had like lost grandparents and stuff like in high school, and it definitely was a weird experience. Of course, when once it hits, you're like, oh my god, like they're just gone. How did that happen?
Mhm.
And it honestly took me like 7 years. I feel like to finally feel okay from grandparents. And I was in my first year of teaching in 2018, and I was just, like, starting to become really burnt out and just tired from the classroom and schooling and everything, and then in March of 2019, I was literally, like, at, like, basically rock bottom, and then my mom passed away unexpectedly. So, it was really just and I, like, only laugh because it's not funny at all, but, you know.
Does your face do that too? I do that too. When somebody tells me something sad or something horrible happened, my face smiles. And I'm like,
Yeah.
stop it. Stop it. This is not the moment to smile right now. You look like an idiot or like a moron or like, but I can't help it. Does your face do the same thing?
Yeah, sometimes it's like it's expressive, and I'm like, "I'm not actually." Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. Um,
I'm sorry I
so
interrupted you. I'm so sorry your mom passed away. That's such a tough thing. I can't even imagine. Continue.
well, thanks. Yeah, so she passed away unexpectedly, it was, like, honestly, like, a movie kind of moment, and it was, like, obviously the worst moment of my life, like,
Yeah.
it was and it wasn't her fault, but my cousin texted me. I got a text message, and she's like, "Hey, like, I'm so sorry, like, I know how much your mom loved you," and I was like, "The fuck?" Like, but I had tried to call my parents, because I had a bad day, and I was, like, honestly calling my mom, like, almost every day anyway.
Yeah.
So I was trying to call her, and I was, like, trying to call my dad, and nobody was answering. I'm like, "Hmm, kinda weird," and then I was like, "Oh, wait, I think they had, like, an appointment or something that they were gonna go
Mhm.
to, like, they to go to something." I was like, "Okay, no problem," and I kinda pushed it aside. Um, and then I got home, and I was, like, eating my little snacks, whatever, and then I got the text from my cousin, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I called her, I'm like, "Hello? Like, what are you talking about?" Because at this point, I couldn't get a hold of anybody, you know? And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm late to class." So she realized, like, that she spilled the beans and didn't know. Um,
Mhm.
so I got a hold of my sibling, and I called, and they were like I was like, what's going on?" Like, and they were like, "Mom died," and I just, like, collapsed on the floor, like, the whole, like, movie moment of just like, "Oh my god." But they were like, Dad's on the way," and, right now, he should be here any minute. So, luckily, like, my dad got here. I was obviously inconsolable, like but it was
Yeah.
just like stomach just drops, and you're like, "Oh my god, they're just, like, gone," and then, of course, the moment where you're like, I wanna talk to my mom about this," you
Right.
just realize, like, "Oh, she's not here." So this immediate feeling of, like, being an orphan almost,
Mhm.
of, like, being alone in the woods and, like, no one's there to protect you.
Mhm.
Uh, so after that, yeah, I was already burnt out and, like, fuck America, real honestly, oftentimes for the most part now because we aren't given obviously, like, women aren't given enough, like, maternity leave, like, we know that and everything. But
Yeah.
also with, like, bereavement, like, so many jobs aren't don't have the luxury of not luxury, of having the bereavement, like, it should be, mandatory for every fucking job to have it. So I think mine, since I was teaching, I think I only had 2 weeks, and 2 weeks 2 weeks is like a vacation, it's not enough time to grieve, and I learned from the experience that grief is like it is a journey, it's not a one-time thing, so I think that was one of the biggest, like, takeaways was that it's not an overnight thing, and it's like your heart breaks, and it's just a part of you now that, like, has to be filled in with, like, the gold, like, I know the pottery or whatever, like, in,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
they
I know what you mean.
yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, your heart will always, like, have this mark. It's just gonna, like, be different now, and yeah, the grief will come in waves, and it was just, like, so lonely, so I kind of started my whole, like, journey, after the burnout. There is more, I'll go into it now, so since we have a little bit of time, but, so after she passed, I had the 2 weeks, I tried to go back to work, I literally couldn't. I took off more time, and actually ended up checking myself into the hospital because I was not okay, and mentally, I was not okay, I was, like, definitely I used to, when I was younger, a teenager or have, like, suicidal ideation, I can never say that word, but this time I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I'm I can't be here anymore,"
Mm.
so it was really hard for, like, I think my dad to experience because I think this was the first time that he actually, like, believed me,
Mhm.
and because that's annoying when your parents don't believe you when you're younger, but anyway, um, so yeah, so I had to, like it's so fucked up, and again, our healthcare system too, but I had to just be, like, honest and be like, "Yeah, you have to" they literally ask you if you have, like, a plan or whatever, and you're like you have to fabricate, honestly, to, like, get in sometimes to, like, get a spot, which is ridiculous, and obviously, I'm, like, a privileged white girl, so, like, I'm sure I got in easier than somebody that might not look like me, um, but, I had an idea anyway, so, like, it wasn't
Yeah.
that complicated, but I had to, like, be more serious because I needed that spot.
Yeah. But that's really fucked up that you have to go to that extent just to get the help you need, that's just fucked up.
Yeah. So fucked up. So, yeah, luckily I got my spot and it was definitely an interesting experience, but I think I was in there for like 2 weeks because they start you on on antidepressants or whatever the individual needs. So in my case it was like anti-anxiety, antidepressant, whatever. Best thing that I could have done for myself ever. I know everybody's, different and like me being in kind of like the wellness space, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you should be clean and, like, never take any pills or anything." And, like, I was raised by 2 parents in, like, the medical field, so, you hear, like, competing sides, but honestly, it's like, you do what's right for you,
No, you gotta
and
tell those bitches to shut up and do exactly
yeah,
what's right for you. Yes.
exactly, and I'm so glad. It was the best thing that I could have did. It improved my life quality drastically. I was able to, like, get on my feet, and then when I was in there, I was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm gonna make the most of, like, my motherfucking life." Like, so I kind of forget about it almost, like, that experience sometimes, and then I remember, like, "Oh my god," like, I was almost, like, at the end of my life at one point, like, I'm lucky to be here, so I sometimes think about this, like, as my second life, like, I know you had Kat on, and, like, she literally, like this is her second chance, like, so mine looks a little different, but I feel like I kind of feel
No,
like it
but
is.
same. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mental health is also health, heart health,
Yeah.
mental health is, same.
Right. So yeah, so since then I was doing coaching for the burnout work. But then I also realized how important it was for grief because I started to attract different people that like resonated with my grief story and like they had lost a
Mhm.
parent. They felt the same way. And like
Mhm.
it was just like crazy because I'd felt so alone in that moment from people my age, like 20s, 30s, because
Yeah.
everybody was, like, 60 and they lost their mom, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Great, you also had your whole life, and you have, like, a husband to, like, take care of
Right.
you." Like, you don't get
Yeah.
it, honestly. No offense. Um, so it was cool to see the people that came around. I started a little grief group, but yeah, so I like to talk about the grief tips as well on the podcast, so long story short.
Mhm. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. First of all, I know it's not easy to be this vulnerable on a podcast where complete strangers listen to you. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. When you were in the hospital, did you have therapy there?
So, yeah, they had group therapy sessions, they had
Mhm.
art therapy, and then you also got to see the psychiatrist one-on-one.
Mhm.
So, yes, but also I guess no, like, I didn't have like, I was in therapy before that, but, yeah, I didn't really see, like, I guess a therapist technically one-on-one in there
Yeah.
besides group therapy.
So that started later. I mean, this all happened when you were already at the lowest point in your life. You were already so burned out and
Mhm.
kind of like low energy, right? And dragging your life as it was. And then the worst imaginable thing happened. So that's such a deep, deep black hole you had to get yourself out of. And I'm so glad that you reached out and seeked, whatever the word
Yeah,
is.
no, it's a lot, I think. Hard word.
You got help. And I'm so glad that your dad also came around and understood what was going on and was supporting you and your sibling too, I assume, yeah? Did you
Mhm.
guys stick together? Were you like a help for each other or were you each going through it on your own?
So I think that's another weird thing that you realize is like every family member is going to grieve differently
Mhm.
and they're going to grieve on their own timeline. So that was like so while it was hitting me like immediately, my sibling honestly didn't really like kind of reach out about it until like last year, I think, maybe early this year, um, because they had a partner at the time, so I think that, like, kind of alleviated some of the
Yeah.
loneliness, some of the feelings.
Mhm.
So they reached out to me earlier. I'm like, "Wow, like, I'm sorry I wasn't there as much and stuff." So their timeline hit a little differently, but
Yeah.
they did answer the phone a lot, when I called and checked in on me and, like, I think even, um, encouraged me to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I understand. And, I never had to go through the grief process in that sense, in the way you had to. I mean, obviously, I lost grandparents too, right? And I am divorced and, losing a marriage, so to speak, people also refer to as like a kind of grieving process, but obviously completely different from what you had to go through. How did you experience the grieving process? How long did it take for you to realize that actually happened? Because I can imagine that takes some time to sink in. And then, you always hear of the 5 stages of grief or whatever they are. Did you go through all of them and do you go through them 1 minute is one and the next minute is the next, or is it like a weekly transition? Or talk to me about this grieving process a little bit if you can put it in words.
Great questions. So, I think it took a year for me to even hit that, like, of what happened.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
that whole year was just kind of like, "Okay, we bury her, I go to the hospital, I'm taking my medications, I'm getting back to work and back into, like, I was doing grad school for the job at the time, getting back into that, getting back into the swing of things." So, like, it was kind of a distraction that whole year.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, it wasn't until, like, a year later that I was like, "Okay, it started to hit me." Um, but I feel like I started to go to therapy again, and it did start to help. So, probably, like, 2 years, 3 years in, I started to feel it. I personally that's one of the things I will talk about is I don't really think there's, like, stages of grief, and
Interesting.
in fact, I don't think everybody goes through all of them, or at least in that order, because I wasn't like, I don't know, anger's the first one or one of the first ones, like, I honestly wasn't angry, like, I don't even know if I ever felt angry, like, maybe, like, later on, but yeah, I didn't it was more like, the shock and then just, like, the sadness, and then, "Oh, I was okay," and then, "Oh, no, like, I'm sad again." I think it was more, like, grieving not only, like, her loss, but grieving the relationship that, like, we could have had in the future, um, because our relationship was a little bit strained, like, when I was in high school, uh, so it was more like, "Oh my god, I just had her, like, we could have had this really great relationship, like, we were repairing, like, we were closer than ever, and then, like, I lost it." So, that's, like, one of the shitty things I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. And I don't really even know how to respond properly to that. You always hear that people say, don't say you're sorry, don't wish your condolences, but you just put the grieving person in a weird, awkward situation. And, being the bitch, I need to say that. What is the right way? Like, how do you wish people would respond or react to you? Or should they even respond at all? Or just sit here and shut the fuck up and listen to me? Or let's not talk about, like, how do you feel about that topic?
Oh, that's one I can talk about so much, forever, but I think that was one thing actually that really did piss me off was that I had a good friend and, like, lover, I don't think I ever called her out to her face or anything, but she did, like, at the funeral, like, tell me, "Oh, I can't imagine how you feel." And I was like, "Obviously, your mom's fucking standing right there," like, not literally, but, like, she's alive. I know how you can't like, your mom and you were best friends, like, I know you
Yeah.
don't get it yet, like, I know you can't imagine. So that really did piss me off. So, I think I think I don't know, I don't mind sorry, like, "I'm so sorry," like, I feel like that's standard,
Mhm.
but I think one of the, like, nice things that you can do is like, "Oh, I'd love to, like, hear more about your mom, like, can you" like, if you're open to that, "I'd love to hear more," or something like that, but I don't think you can go wrong with sorry, but, like, but I think somebody said, "Oh, I can only" instead of "I can't imagine how you feel," somebody said, "I can only imagine how you feel." Like, there's a slight difference,
Interesting.
but one says yeah, one says something, like, different. But
Mm.
honestly, I think you can't really go with wrong with sorry, but just kind of, like, asking, like, "Is there anything that you need? How can I best support you?" Um, I think, yeah, you can't go wrong with, like, that.
That's so interesting that you say that, because even for me, I think I even said it. I can't even imagine because, from my point of view, I'm trying to sympathize. Why can I not talk today? Can I just go back to elementary school and learn to talk? But sympathize with you and try to really relate and put myself in your position. And I'm trying really hard to meet you on eye level, so to speak, if that makes sense, right? But obviously I haven't been there yet. So it just comes out of my mouth to say, I can't even imagine what you're going through, but I love to be there for, I think that's the message behind it. But then
Mhm.
there is sender and receiver, and the sender means well, and obviously you know that. But in that moment, you are receiving like, shut the fuck up. Of course you can't imagine because your mom is still alive. It's interesting to me. But I see both sides, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
like
It's a great lesson to learn from somebody who's been through the grieving process to say, just don't say it. Keep it in,
mm.
so it's a great lesson. I love that you mentioned that. Thank you. And since you mentioned it, what is something good about your mom you can share?
My gosh, she was so creative, and she was such an artist, and I love being in LA because this is the land where, like, art is celebrated and accepted and fucking encouraged, and, like, it's shoved down your throat since you're little, like, ugh, my poor mom, yeah, I think she tried to go to school for art, but then, like, people were like, "Oh, you'll never get a job," and blah, blah, blah,
Well,
so she became a nurse,
oh,
and, I mean,
nice.
she met my dad at the hospital, and, had me, but I don't did she love it? Was she really stressed? Yeah. Did she love it? She was really good at helping people, I guess, in the way that I'm really good at helping and, like, working with kids,
Mhm.
but I don't necessarily know if she, like, loved it. Um, so but, yeah, so she would make my Halloween costumes, she, like, designed like, I had like, a dollhouse, she, like, decorated it and, like, designed it. My parents had gotten a, like, mountain house, and she, like, designed the house. So she was just, like, so, so creative. So I feel like I honor my artistic abilities and stuff and, like,
Yeah.
celebrate them, and, it reminds me of her.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's the way you still connect with her, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely, I'd say so. Yeah, I'm trying to get back into painting and everything.
Oh, I love that so much. Do you believe in signs?
Oh my gosh, Melly, do I believe in signs? Yes, I love signs. I love signs. Oh my gosh. Do you want me to go into the ones that I hear
Yeah,
or see?
please.
Okay. Well, obviously dreams. I get a lot of like visits, I feel like, from people in dreams, but nothing necessarily significant.
Mhm.
Um, it was more like grandparents, I feel like came through like really like
Oh,
wildly in dreams.
yeah.
But with my mom, I would see her birthday a lot and like on the phone when I like look at the clock. And then but really I see cardinals. That was her favorite bird. So when I was at home, I would see just, like, cardinal outside the window, like or when I'm on, like, a really important phone call, like, I would see one, like, fly and, like, land in the tree. So, that was, like, the big one for her, but after my grandmother died, I started to see, like, yellow swallowtail butterflies,
Mhm.
and to the point, like, where it was, like, following me, it felt like, at when I was at, like, in high school and, like, hockey practice, like, I felt like it was, like, following me, I'm like, "What the heck?" So in big moments again, like, I'd see the swallowtail sometimes, but at college graduation, I was like, "Alright, like, I'll know my grandma's here if I see a yellow swallowtail butterfly." And so right as, like, I don't know if it was, like, the leader of my college or whatever was talking, I saw a yellow swallowtail, like, kinda just, like, float by, da da and it was just, like it felt like it was just for me because I was, like, thinking, I'm like, "Did anybody see that, or was that just
Oh,
me?" Um, so yeah, I think those are, like, my biggest biggest signs. I can't think if there's, like, one like, bigger. Um, but I think my dad needed to hear, like, "Thank you" one time from his par in-laws, and I hard randomly in, like, our basement from, like, my grandpop or my grandma, one of them, and then I showed him. I was like, "Oh, this is for you," because it said, like, "For Alex," and then, like
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, it
That's
was like, "Thank
amazing.
you." I was like, "Oh." So he, like my dad really loves signs now.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Um, do you believe in mediums? Have you ever been to one?
I do believe in mediums. I have had 2 that I've seen, but 1 I feel like has been, like, super really, really good, to the point where she was like this was, like, 4 years ago at this point, and she's like, "Oh, like, I see you moving to the West, like, out West," and I'm like, "Out West? Like, where?" At this time, I think I was living in Texas, but I'm like, "What the hell do you mean out West? Like, where would I go? Like, I'm not going to California, like, everybody goes there."
Yeah,
Uh, and then she also was like, "Oh, who's, like" and then she said this lady's name, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And she was like, "Oh, your mom wants you to, like, tell the lady's name, like, let's call her Jane. Your mom wants you to tell" she's like, "Who's Jane?" And I was like she's like, "Your mom wants you to tell Jane she's really thank you, she's really grateful." And Jane was an old friend of mine's mom who had lost her mom when she was 17, and she was, like, calling me and, like, kinda helping me through the immediate, like, aftermath of my mom's passing and stuff, and I'm like,
that she
"Oh,
was
wow."
there for you and helped you
Yeah.
through this a little bit.
Yeah, so that was, like, really crazy. I was like, "How does she" that was it wasn't, like, an everyday name, like Karen or no
Yeah,
offense to Karen, or like Barbara. It was like, "Oh, that was how did you fucking know that?" So, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
wow.
But the other one was, like, okay, but honestly, my dad, I feel like, likes mediums and stuff more than I do do,
That's
which is, like, odd like, probably really odd, but, whatever works, I'm happy for him.
does it give you comfort to know that your mom is around you? Like, does the visit with the medium, did it confirm it for you, and does it give you comfort and all the signs you see and all that?
So, I think it definitely gives me comfort, and I feel like I have an extra level of, like, protection around me at all times. Like, I feel like obviously I have my own senses to, like, watch out, watch my back, and, like, see, what's happening, make sure I'm safe, but I do feel like she's looking out for me because
Mhm.
she was always, like, a mama bear and stuff, but, like, even more so now, I'm like, "She's watching. She's got my
Oh,
back." Yeah, so it does bring me comfort, like, when I see signs or anything. Like, I'm so open for that, and I feel like the people that are skeptical probably haven't gone through, like, a significant, loss or a loss that they took significantly. That's just my
yeah. Oh, I love that for you. It's amazing. Before we switch to another topic, what is your favorite memory you have of you and your mom?
hmm, that is a good one. I feel like I don't know if I have necessarily one because again, like, there was a lot of, like, moments growing up that were hard that I remember experiencing with her, but I feel like I really enjoyed, like, our, like, nighttime chats and, like, watching movies, just, like, being sharing a blanket together and, like, eating cheese and crackers or snacks or whatever. I
Yeah.
really I really liked those moments, and I remember one day, like, I told her, like, "Oh, like, you're my best friend," like, just, like, randomly, and I was a teenager or something, or I
Mhm.
was an adult. And then my aunt, like, after she passed, like, had told me, like, you, like, made your mom's day," like, when you told her that, like
Aw,
yeah, I was like, "Stop, I didn't even know I did that," but yeah, so,
so sweet.
uh,
That was probably one of her core memories of you and her. That is so sweet.
yeah, she really liked that. I was like, "Oh, I had no idea."
Yeah. Does it get a little bit easier as time goes by? You know, people always say time heals a little bit of me. I mean, of course, you will never be completely over it, but does it get a little bit easier?
Yeah, so, like, the old friend's mom, Jane,
Mhm,
said, she was just like, "Yeah, it it doesn't go away, but it does get, like, easier moving forward."
mhm.
But I forget how she worded it. But yeah, so basically, like, it does every year, I feel like does go more smoothly and it does get, like, easier, but, like, the pain doesn't go away. It doesn't really like, change. It's still gonna be there, it's still gonna come up sometimes, it's still gonna be in disguise, whatever, but yeah, so I feel like it does get more easy to move forward.
Mhm. Do you have certain things in a day that makes you think of her other than the artistic side of you? Like do like for example, in the morning you sit down and drink your coffee and while you're sitting there you think, "Oh, my mom liked her coffee with milk too." Like, moments like that. Do you have multiple of these kind of moments throughout the day?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, I totally do. I think especially too, like, living here in LA where I'm like she, like she had a certain style that she enjoyed
Mhm.
of like, houses and decor, and I just, like, see some of that around, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she would have loved that," and, like yeah, so I do have moments like that all the time, or she yeah, like I said, she had, like, cheese and crackers a lot, and I eat it, like, probably too often, and I'm like, "Oh," like, having, like, her snack, you know? So I do have those moments pretty daily.
Are those happy moments for you? Are you happy in those moments when you have those reminders, or does it make you also sad a little bit? Like how would you describe that feeling?
I think it is like a ebb and flow because, like, sometimes I think it's really happy and, like, it's okay, but then sometimes it depends, like, it might be really triggering.
Mhm.
So it really just depends, and again, doesn't matter how many years go by, like, sometimes it might be fine, but then sometimes it might be, like, really sad, like, I'm gonna be going to my cousin's wedding,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh, so excited for her," but, like, I know it's gonna remind me of something, and then I'm gonna be, like, really sad for a moment, so just really depends.
Yeah. I would imagine that family gatherings kind of bring out the sadness a little bit because she's just that empty chair on the table, right? She's just missing right there. But do you and your family, your immediate family or extended family, still talk about her when you get together, or is that topic being avoided?
I think we definitely still talk about her. Um, I feel like my dad probably talks about her even, like, more so, but, yeah, we still talk about her. I think her siblings, still do, and everybody does. It's not like a can't talk about it type of
Right.
thing, or we get, like, really upset, like, if somebody does. Yeah, so we still do, but I think it depends, like, family to family, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. And did it make you somehow closer with your dad and your sibling? Did
Yeah, I think me and my dad are a lot closer
Mhm.
than, um, than we ever were before. I think with my sibling too, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry.
The
Sorry
cutest
about
things ever, bless you.
Thanks. Okay, start the back. So, yeah, I think we did become closer, like, me and my dad especially. I was the one to call my mom, like, every day or every other day, and
Mhm.
my dad, like, once or twice a week, even though, they lived together, but now I call my dad, like, every other day, basically. So, I do talk to him more, and my sibling, I feel like we're definitely closer for sure,
Mhm.
especially since they, like, acknowledged, like, some of the harder times in the more recent years, so I was like, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know you talk a little bit about it on your podcast. I think, especially in the earlier episodes, the ones that I listened to, you spoke about a lot. What is one advice you give to somebody who is experiencing grief? And, what is something you would like to share?
Hmm. Biggest advice. I think it really is just to take it day by day, like, I know it's probably what everybody says, but you really just have to go, like, day by day, and if that's too much even, like, hour by hour, because
Mhm.
even if it just happened, you might literally be, like, laughing at something on TV, and then, like, an hour later, you're crying again in bed, like, it's just seriously so up and down, so you just kinda have to, like, move with the waves, groove with the waves, whatever, but, yeah, taking it, like, day by day, one step at a time because it's so hard to look, like, in the future and even think, like, "Oh my god, I have to, like, grieve this my whole life," like, gets
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah. And you mentioned you had your grief group. How did you find these people?
Just, like, Instagram. Yeah, it was like kind of through the coaching stuff, and then like it was like word of mouth. So it was mostly like people in the Philly area, I guess, and like friends would see my story and they'd be like, "Hey, like I know a girl, let me send you her way or him your way, whatever." And yeah, we just kind of like did Zoom meetings like once
Okay.
or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's a great advice too. And obviously, if anybody who's listening this needs help with the grieving process, they can also reach out to you, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I'm not like a professional mental health professional by any means, but as a friend, I am here to
Yeah.
support others.
I love that so much. No, you do so much good for the community, not only with your podcast and, a little bit friend to friend coaching, or even the kids you are helping through the early stages of life as a nanny, but you also offer sound baths. Let's talk about that for a little bit. How did you get into that field?
So yeah, again, like one thing after another like spills it. You just when I'm inspired, I just like keep going, you know? So yeah, once
You're
I was
on
in
a
like
roll.
yeah, once I was in the coaching field, then I had the podcast and I saw I did a sound bath from I was in like listening to like the Almost 30 podcast and like they had a community that I joined and there was a sound bath. I was like, what in the heck is this? This is like crazy. But I even did it virtually because this was again COVID times or like 2021, right after it first began. And I was in the room and I was like, I did the sound bath and I was like, wow, I love this. So I followed the girl. And after that, I saw she was offering like teaching classes. And I was like, well, if I want to do it, like I want to learn the right way. So, spent more money and learned. But it was cool because like she's actually based in LA. So I've met her in person and like gone to some of her sound baths and stuff. But yeah, it was just like I really struggle with meditating, like when it's absolutely quiet or anything,
Yeah.
but there was
Yeah.
something about the sound frequencies and the different instruments that like I was able to actually go into a deep meditation. So it felt really good. And I was like, I love this. I could bring this to others and like, incorporate in different ways. So it was just like another tool to add to my whatever toolbox.
Yeah, I love that so much. I had the pleasure of experiencing it a couple times already. You sometimes offer it for our walking group. We can give them a shout out, Los Angelistas. If you're in LA, come and join us. Find us on Instagram. Tammy sometimes at the end of a walk will offer a sound bath, which is not so enjoyable for me because I usually bring Peanut with me and with Peanut in a sound bath. I saw you recently did a sound bath actually with a friend from the walking group and her dog was totally chill. Peanut, you've seen him. He's the opposite. He's just, I don't know, looking around and so distracted by everything and anything. But to come back, I'm sorry, I went off track for a little bit. Your sound baths are so relaxing. I came to you once when you had that hangar studio for a little while, and we did the sound bath there. It was so relaxing. I loved that so much. I've never experienced a sound bath before, and I loved so much that you combine it with your other methods and your other expertise of, for example, the gratitude. There was a little gratitude card you offered to us, and I love that so much. Like I love when all your magic tricks come together in one.
Thanks. Yeah, I love to make it not just, the sound bath, but like let's do journaling after it or like maybe it's a vision boarding workshop. Like I love making it a whole like day community or not day, but hour, 2 hour event and like let's make it a really fun experience for everybody. Yeah, community is just so important for me and to be around like-minded good people has been so helpful for my health all around.
Yeah, I love that. And this is the judgy bitch pod. Is there ever anything in your life where you want to be the judgy bitch pod? Not the pod, but the judgy bitch. Do
I
you have a
mean,
bitch out about something?
am I a bitch about something? I will be extremely bitchy when it comes to you know, the not to be like political or anything, but the rights of like people
Yeah.
and um minorities. Like I cannot take when people are like mean and racist, nasty. I will go at it. Like I'm a Libra. If for anybody that matters, I am a Libra, so I love peace and joy and like equality. But I have a lot of planets in Scorpio, so I will be the first to be like a bitch, honestly.
I love
And it
that.
wasn't
The little
it was actually, like I love that you brought this up, like, the bitch, like, and I like the judgy bitch because that was one word I was so afraid of, and I never wanted to be a bitch because I lived by, like, the idea of, like, "Oh, little girls have to be good girls, and they have to be nice girls," and, like, that is what I lived my playbook by, like, for my entire life, and then I realized, like, sometimes, like, the nice girl finishes last, and not saying you have to be mean and, like, a bitch, but you have to just, like, advocate for yourself. So I think I've
yeah.
learned how to, like that, like, bitch doesn't necessarily mean, like, being mean or anything like that. Like, I've realized it's for me, the term has changed and, like, I can be a bitch now.
Yeah.
I'm embracing it.
I went through the exact same development as you did when I first moved to the United States and, learning the language more. And I think in German, they translate bitch with more like a slut type of thing. So I was like, I will never use that word. And look at me now. I'm cursing left and right. I'm the
Ah,
judgy bitch now. It's
yeah.
just a stage of development we all have to go through.
Right, and just, like yeah, like, for lack of better words, like, growing a backbone or, like, advocating for yourself, having boundaries, like, not accepting certain treatment anymore, and, you know
Exactly.
yeah, it's really empowering.
Yeah, it's evolution and emancipation, right? Yeah. But just to say one final thing about the sound bath thing, you are also offering it and people can book you for corporate events, for birthdays, for private events, even for one-on-one sessions. How can they find you to book a sound bath session with you?
Yes, thank you, yeah. So, I'm at Tammy U, the letter U, underscore wellness, mostly, but and I am also, like some of my sound bath stuff is at gather with Tammy, but you'll mostly see me on my other account, so, yeah,
And that's on
just
Instagram, right?
Instagram, thank you, yep. I am on TikTok at TammyU underscore wellness also, but here and there sporadic. It's just so hard to have so many platforms when it's not your full-time job.
I know, especially as a millennial. I get it. Tammy, we're almost at the end of our podcast here, and I thank you so much for sharing everything. That was a really deep podcast, and I really appreciate you. And to lighten the mood, and before I let you go, are you ready to play some games?
Yes, I love a
And don't
game.
forget, we still have the surprise at the end of the podcast. So,
Yeah.
bitch besties, stick around. The first game I have, or David, my ChatGPT personal assistant, has prepared for us is called Good Bitch, Bad Bitch, the Gratitude Edition. I have to put on my readers because I'm old. I can see shit. So I'll give you scenarios and you'll decide is that a good bitch or a bad bitch situation for you. Okay. So first one is someone saying, at least they're in a better place when you lose someone.
Ugh, that is that's a bad that's a wait, that's a bad bitch, you don't wanna say that, right? 'Cause sorry, I didn't say
Ever.
the word.
Do not ever say that to
Yeah,
nobody. Not even
yeah.
about a pet. Do not ever say that. Next one. Finding $5 in an old coat pocket.
Ooh, good bitch.
Yes. A friend who shows up for you but only posts it on social media,
Mm, bad bitch.
right? Yeah. Gives me the
Performative.
very performative. Getting a random compliment from a stranger.
Ooh, good bitch.
Yeah, more of that. People will tell you to just be positive when you're sad.
Bad bitch.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. No.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yes. A pet that sits with you when you cry.
Aw, good bitch.
Yes. Um, family members fighting at a funeral.
Bad bitch. Just don't
Yeah.
come.
Happened in my personal life.
Oh,
Horrible. Next game, sound bath or bubble bath. So situations to pick for your self-care vibe. Okay. Okay. Someone cuts you off in traffic and then drives slow.
oh, bubble bath.
Favorite song comes on unexpectedly.
Ooh, sound bath.
Okay. Cancel plans when you secretly didn't want to go.
Ooh, bubble bath.
Forgetting someone's birthday.
Ugh. Oh, I've done that. Oh, it's so bad.
No, shit happens. We all have a life. We're busy, you know.
Yeah.
Waiting forever for your Starbucks order.
Mm, sound bath.
Yeah, right. You need this in that moment.
Yeah.
Getting ghosted.
Oh, bubble bath with chocolates.
I love that. Oh, okay. Last game I have for you is called Thank You Next Gratitude version.
Oh,
So these are cliches and sayings, and you can keep them or toss them, so to speak. Okay.
okay.
First one is everything happens for a reason.
Oh, I like this one.
Me too. Time heals all wounds.
Mm, I disagree,
It makes
actually.
it better a little bit, right? But it will never completely heal.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This too shall pass.
Um, I mean, I guess I like it. It's true. I agree.
For certain situations, right?
Yeah.
Not for everything in life. Yeah, I agree. Stay strong.
Disagree. You don't have to
Same.
be strong all the time.
Huh, I like that. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh. Um, I mean, ugh, it's so cliche, but yeah, I guess so.
Gratitude is the attitude.
I, yep, I hate to say it, but it's true.
God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
Uh, I guess, yeah, I guess it's true. I don't want to admit it, but
Count your blessings.
agree.
That's exactly the gratitude, what you taught
Yeah.
us early on the podcast a little bit, right?
Yep.
Choose happiness.
I have to agree. Like, sometimes you have to actually like be really mindful about it and make it a hard part of the day to like, okay, I gotta choose this.
Me as a judgy bitch, it's not always easy.
Hard. It's hard.
The last one for you I have is fake it till you make it.
Um, I disagree with that one.
I think
Yeah.
it depends on the situation you're in, right? If you're like, let's say, going on stage and you're nervous, of course you're faking that you're not nervous and you make it through, right? But when it's a more deeper issue, it's not so easy to fake it. Or maybe you shouldn't fake it. You should probably deal with your emotions and feelings, right?
Yeah, I think honestly like vulnerability and like authenticity is so powerful. So like if you kind of admit to like you have a speech on stage and you're like, I'm gonna be honest, like I'm really nervous right now. I'm sweating bullets, but we're here. We're gonna have fun. Like that kind of helps your audience sometimes connect with you. So I kind of disagree. I think you should just kind of embrace what it is.
I know what you mean, but sometimes you say that and you make yourself so small with that. And then at the end of your speech, people will give you the feedback. I could not tell you you were nervous at all. I don't know why you said that at the beginning. If you hadn't said that, it would have been just, the professional boss babe as you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I guess you don't have to like say it, but you can just kind of go with it. You don't necessarily have to fake like having it together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tammy, I love this so much. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable, for sharing everything you did. You gave also great advice. Tell my bitch besties one more time where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on the platforms at TammyU_wellness and also at Gather with Tammy, but I don't show up there as much. And yeah, the podcast is The Path to Transformation, and that is on Apple, Spotify. Make sure you subscribe, leave a little review if you listen, and share it with a friend.
I love
Thanks.
that so much. And as promised for the bitch besties, I'm so excited. We have a little surprise. Do you want to share the surprise? What is it?
Yes. So Melly's going to be my special guest on my episode for next week.
I love it
Yay!
so much.
I
So
know, I'm
my
so excited.
episode is probably coming out after your episode because I always record them a couple weeks in advance. But it doesn't matter. The bitch besties can listen to this first and then go over
Oh,
and listen to your episode. I love that so much. And I've
yes.
never been on another one's podcast either, so it will be my first too. So I love it so much.
Thank you. This was so great. So excited to talk to the bitches.
Yes. And bitch besties, please let us know what you think. If you have any advice you want to share, if you have any feedback for us, we're open for anything. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Let me know if you're watching. And see you next week. Bye, bitches.
Bye.
That was it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are as excited and opinionated as Peanut and me, please give us a follow on Instagram at the Judgy Bitch Pod. And don't forget, please also tell everybody you know about this new podcast so they come and follow us as well. We would much appreciate it. Would you like to be part of it? Sure, go ahead. Send us a DM with your feedback, your hot takes, and your unapologetic opinions. We might read them next time. And last but not least, don't forget, please follow, review, and rate wherever you listen to this podcast. See you next week. Cheers, bitches.